This is Two Dudes and a Six Pack with your hosts, Grayson and Chris.
Tight, yeah!
That's good.
Join us as we cover a six-pack of topics from booze
Excellent.
to pop culture.
Inconceivable!
So, pull up a chair and crack open a beer as we discuss the best
Here's to feeling good all the time.
of the worst.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We're glad you are with us. The Earth is still here for another episode, so that's always a good sign. And it's an even better sign that you are with two dudes in a six-pack for our fantastic episode. We'll get into exactly what that is in a second, but some introductions are in order. You got me here, Grayson, and then on the other end, you got your buddy and mine, Chris.
That's right. How's everybody doing? Everybody's still
We're still alive,
not
man.
dead from a nuclear fallout.
Yeah,
Yes.
no nuclear fallout. Despite what Hawaii might have told or been informed, we're all still good to go. Which is
That was pretty intense. If anybody caught that news blurb.
yeah. Like I know people who live in Hawaii, and they actually posted their like the text report that you get when there's something serious, like an Amber Alert, except for nuclear warheads. And
Right.
it's just like, man, I don't even know what would happen. Like, what would you do if you get that text? Like, well, we're screwed.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, how long do you think it takes a warhead to fly from North Korea? Just throwing that out. And say Los Angeles. I mean, what, 2 minutes or 3 minutes? By the time you get the text, you're gonna see the mushroom cloud already. Well,
That's what I mean. Right. The better question is how fast does the alert happen?
right.
Because that missile's already been in the air at that point.
Yeah.
And my guess is whatever anti-missile technology has probably failed by the time that text comes through.
Yeah. It's like you'd think that they would have been able to push the button to blow up, shoot something at it before they texted you. But you gotta kind of hope that the person sending out the text doesn't still have a 9-digit flip phone, and they're typing out the text that way, like nuclear. No, correct.
Like 4 times before they can get the right U in there.
Yeah, and do you put an emoji at the end of it? Just so they know it's legitimate. It's like, okay, and is there a missile emoji? It's like,
Right,
no, okay, frowny face. Oncoming nuclear missile, frowny face. Send.
That said, hey, that's all, I'd take it seriously.
Oh, God. So, yeah, the weird thing is I had emailed Chris last week sometimes, like, hey, let's do an episode talking about Fallout stuff. And then this happened. So it's like we predicted it this time, not The Simpsons.
Right.
We did.
Yes. Right, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
But everyone's still good to go. I think. I don't think anybody got hurt. Hopefully nobody got hurt with it. But yeah, this whole episode is going to be about Fallout stuff. It's going to be, what would you do? What would you take with you in a Fallout shelter? And, beer and all that good stuff. So, well, not all that good stuff. All the post-apocalyptic stuff that goes with it.
The best of what you can do.
Yeah,
Stuff.
this is making the best of the worst situation in a nuclear holocaust. That's basically what we're going to talk about today. So let's get into our first beer. Chris, what do you got, or a drink or whatever? What do you got for your post-apocalyptic beverage of choice?
Okay, first one that I'm going to go with today is it's a Shorts Brew. I've talked about these guys before on the show. Shorts is a good company. I like them a lot. I've got their Howlin' Chinaski, which is a traditional German Dortmunder lager.
Okay.
And so I've never had it before. I figured Howlin', I'm probably going to be screaming at some point, at least a mild 30 some odd minutes of panic when I find out that the world has ended.
Uh-huh.
It's also a throwback to a poet that I really like, Charles Bukowski. His pen name was Henry Chinaski. So Howlin' Chinaski is kind of like a throwback to them. So I'll crack this open and I think some Bukowski would definitely be making its way down into the Fallout shelter with me as well.
Nice.
But do you know what a Dortmunder is? Is it a place?
A Dortmunder?
Yeah, German Dortmunder lager. I don't know. I've never heard of that
I haven't
that
either.
designation before.
That's a good. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
Smells like a Heineken.
Oh, that's great. Dortmunder. How do you spell it?
Sorry, I was taking a pull off of it. It's a Dortmunder. And actually, even though it smelled a little skunky, I definitely prefer it. It's got that sort of typical German kind of, you know, sharpness and bitterness at the end there a little
Okay.
bit, kind of what you sort of expect from a beer like this, but also surprisingly smooth though. It's not bad. I kind of like it.
Okay, here's a little Wikipedia information for you, and we all know that's totally accurate on what a Dortmunder is. It says, according to Wikipedia, a Dortmunder is a pale lager originally brewed by the Dortmunder Union in Dortmund, Germany. And it's a soft-textured beer influenced by the Pilsner lager brewed in Pilsen. It became popular with industrial workers and was responsible for Dortmunder Union becoming Germany's largest brewery, and blah, 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 blah. But, so that's what a Dortmunder is.
Well, there you go. I mean, so it's definitely got a lot of those characteristics. It's soft up front, very much like that old school Pilsner style in the back. Definitely drinkable for sure.
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like it's just a German Pilsner. Or that's
Yeah,
kinda what
that basically, I would probably describe it pretty good.
I guess, if you have to take a Pilsner from somewhere, a German one's going to be pretty good, or a German influenced one.
Yeah, there's definitely worse choices out there.
We could all make worse choices. But so the one I'm going with is another Michigan beer. It's from Founders. It is the Canadian Breakfast Stout. And this one, on the label, it says Imperial Stout brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels. And basically this one is, if you've ever had I believe it's their Kentucky Breakfast Stout, which is like one of the super duper high end, highly rated beer. And basically they took that beer and put it into the bourbon barrels, which were later used to house maple syrup, which would then house the beer. So you got a couple different things going on. I think they only put this out once every couple years. And
yeah, this is like a super limited release, I think, right?
Yeah, and it's like you can get it on draft in certain places, and then you can get it in the like 1 pint, 9 fluid ounces bottle, and it's about $30 a pop. So, but I figure it's a glass bottle, so it'll age well in the Fallout shelter. Cans, it's tricky when you do cans and carbonation for long periods of time. You might have random explosions in the back of your shelter. And there's nothing worse when you just have beers start popping off in the back. Because that's just, no.
No. Just adding insult to injury at this point.
Yeah, when your limited beer selection is exploding. I know back when the Phantom Menace came out originally, back in, what was that, like 99 or 90 something, 99 or something like that.
Yeah.
Pepsi would put out different collector's cans with different characters printed on the cans, and there was just like a series of I don't know, they probably had 30 plus different characters in different cans, and I would go and I'd buy them because I was huge into just buying anything with Star Wars on it, and I wouldn't open them. I would just like, these are going to be worth a fortune. I'm going to pay for college with these Pepsi cans.
Right.
Of course, like 3 years in, they just start exploding in my room. I'm just like, why did it smell like really old musty sugar? And then you just see like where you're holding the cans is like there's just dripping everywhere. So
oh no.
So don't go if you stock in the Fallout shelter. Probably best to go with bottles. And so I am going to give this thing a taste. Oh man, I it tastes like exactly all the flavors that are printed on the label, and you're still not prepared for it when you drink it because it is 11.7% alcohol, which
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's good when you got a fallout shelter. You don't have a lot of space, so you might as well make it, your beer, add a little oomph to it. So
I think, yeah, like definitely required.
yeah, so
Conserve
then
that space and make sure that, you know,
yeah,
packs a good punch.
so then you and the person or the people that you brought down with you, it's like, all right, we can get drunk faster, and I don't feel like drinking a bunch of whiskey right now, which realistically, I would probably have a lot of that down there too.
Yeah.
But, I'd also have my own still too, but we'll get into that a little later. Actually, we can get into that right now, and that is what would you bring into your fallout shelter? And a follow-up question will be, who would you bring in with you to the fallout shelter? Which one would you like to tackle first?
Let's go with your still idea, man. I didn't even think so. Let's go with what? What do we bring?
Okay.
Because I didn't even think about a still. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because eventually, like if it's nuclear holocaust, you're gonna have to be down there for a while. I mean, you can't just like hang out for a week and then okay, everything's good. No, you gotta hang out, and so yeah, you're probably gonna run out of beer or liquor or whatever at some point. So you're gonna have to start making your own stuff.
That's right. Yeah, I dig it. I think I would definitely be bringing some kind of a still down there with me too. I mean, my head immediately went to, I got to find those powdered alcohol packets that I don't even think are legal to sell.
Uh-huh.
But space-wise, that's where my head was at. It's like, what do I need just to make sure that I have a consistent, how long can I just keep a buzz going
Yeah.
while I'm down?
Yeah, I need to be continually buzzed for the next like 5 years. So
Right.
how
Right.
can we make that happen?
Yes.
Because I feel like with
exactly.
a still, because you can take alcohol from just about anything. You can take it from potatoes or grapes or I don't know, lemon peels. I mean, you can distill alcohol from just about anything. So I feel like you can almost take the leftover waste of whatever you do have for food and then convert that into alcohol. It might not taste that great, but I mean, if the guys on the MASH TV show could have a still in their little tent and they're just pumping out martinis, I think, we could too.
Yes, exactly.
Although
I think this is a genius idea.
Although we'd probably need to have it in like a fireproof area of the shelter in case it explodes because you got all that oxygen pumping through. You don't want the entire thing to go up. But
Right.
So definitely a still. That's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Yes. Yeah. Gotta happen. Gotta happen. Man, what would I bring to a fallout shelter? My head always goes to like mainly entertainment because you'd cover the food basics, right? Tons of potatoes, all kinds of canned food. Like we get that. We're not really going there with it, but like how do you actually make it so that it doesn't completely suck for like the years that you got to be, down there?
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking like you got to find like that old school Victrola machine where you can crank out some oldies, just on like some kind of music going in there. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't use a lot of electricity, right? You don't want to burn it all up.
I would think that not. Yeah, because I mean, you got to find a way for the electricity to continue, or I don't know. Doesn't NASA has to have stuff that lets it like I don't know, generate its own electricity somehow. I don't know how you. Because your fallout
I'm
shelter
sure they
can't
do.
be easily identified by other people. Otherwise, you'll have unwanted guests coming and like murdering everybody, then eating your chickens. You don't
Right.
want that. And drinking your powdered packets of alcohol. It's like no.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's got to be a way to. I don't know. Can you have like exercise bikes that you got to work out on? Then you just it's actually hooked up to a generator. So okay, we just got some more juice going. I don't
That's
know.
a good idea. Yeah. I think I would definitely bring one of those down there. That'd be like a sweet setup at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there's only so much like working out you can do unless you have a giant, I guess if we're really talking, then I'll have like a giant, just like underground, like football arena in my fallout shelter. It'll be,
Right.
I have definitely thought about like, would you really be that crazy if you had a lot of money and you just bought it? I mean, you had a fallout shelter installed. Like,
I
feel
think
like
people do this.
I'd do it if I had like all sorts of money. It's like people think you're crazy until it happens. And then they're just like not even.
Exactly.
They're just blown away, and the only thing left is their shadow on a wall somewhere. It's just.
Right.
Let's. I can't even tell you I told you so because you're just ash, and I'm down here drinking my distilled potato skins. So I mean,
Right.
gotta-
All right. So I just did a Google search for billionaires buying fallout shelters.
Mhm.
And there's like this is a real thing.
Yeah.
The first few results are like doomsday prep for the super rich, and there's apparently private Facebook groups where they're swapping tips on like gas masks and safe locations. People are also buying islands as bunkers. So I mean, yeah, dude, like I think I'd be in that same boat if I had just like unlimited funds.
Yeah.
I mean, I might do that and just go somewhere, even if there isn't a fallout.
The island bunker. I like that idea. That's thinking.
No, that is thinking. Yes.
Because okay, I mean, so you got it down the underground or whatever. So you still down, but you won't have like random people or as many chances like wandering up to your thing. So
Right.
eventually, just go up and all right, let's restart, and then you won't have as much just fallout like whatever unless they drop the bomb like right next to you.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yes, that is the underground island thing. I am totally for that.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I like that a lot better than the underground just mountain bunker somewhere here. Give me
Yeah.
the island fallout shelter.
Yeah, maybe there's an island with a mountain on it. So you got the mountain
that's even
and
better.
island. Now you just got your base is covered.
Right. It's like an evil genius lives there
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, that's like the Lex Luthor, like.
Right. Right.
Although the one thing you got to consider is if this nuclear thing goes off and it melts all the ice caps, if you open the hatch, like, honey, open the hatch, and it just
It just floods. You just get flooded with all this nuclear fallout water at that point.
Yeah, then okay, so maybe the island with the mountain's the best way to go because then you can have like an emergency hatch at the top of the mountain, in
Right.
case the rest of the island is just flooded. Because then you're screwed. I mean, you're that billionaire that bought an island. It's like, well, we got good news and we got bad news.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Bad news.
That's
is
why.
we can never open the hatch.
No. Bad news is we're basically completely screwed. We're totally effed. There's nothing. We're never restarting humanity at this point.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, not to think like super dark or whatever, but I'm also stacking like the complete exit plan too,
Oh,
which
yeah.
would probably just be some really probably hardcore drugs or something like that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If
so,
I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go way out.
So maybe we just have the meth lab chemistry set next to the still. So it's
Yeah, exactly,
all
right.
So then when you're down to like your last week's worth of food, it's like, okay, we're going to start whipping up some methamphetamines down here, and
Right, exactly. Yeah.
if I'm gonna go hallucinating.
That's what I mean. This is gonna be my Kool-Aid moment. Is gonna be me completely tripping balls, not understanding what is happening,
Yeah.
and ultimately it's okay because that's it. That was the end.
Yeah. Or you just take all the speed and cocaine in the world and you just swim across the ocean because
That's
you're
right.
You're
Just see what happens.
Just like keep going. It's like Popeye's spinach. Like just keep going. Just keep going.
Yes. Maybe drugs end up saving the day. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's possible.
Yeah, I won't put good money on it, but it's possible.
Yeah. I think I'd definitely bring the entire Simpsons collection because you got like 600 episodes. At least you could, have that running. You could have like You'd never get old. Never get old.
Yeah, that, and I think Seinfeld would be another one that I would just have on repeat. I think I could just watch Seinfeld and The Simpsons forever and be totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could get enough just sitcoms playing in, and then maybe just some instructional how-tos for using your still and meth lab.
Yes, that would be probably helpful at the end. You don't want to be like, there's going to be no internet, so I can't just Google how to make methamphetamine, and hopefully that gets a good result.
Yeah. So you almost have to, and well, you will have to invest in like some Britannica encyclopedia, whatever that is, what it used to be.
Yeah, right. The old school encyclopedia salesman becomes surprisingly relevant right now.
Yeah. But okay, so let's say you only have room for like one other person in that fallout shelter, and let's just say, for conversation purposes, you are a single man, because you'd have to pick between your child and your daughter. So
Right.
we're not,
Right.
we won't get into those kind of decisions on this show, because somebody's gonna be real upset.
Yep. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So, if you had to take somebody with you in a fallout shelter, who would it be?
This is like a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
So my head immediately goes to like the top of the celebrity pass list that every couple kind of has,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like it goes like pretty much there. So I'm thinking somebody like a Natalie Portman, if she would consent to go into some fallout shelter with me. Although at the end of the when all hell is breaking loose, maybe she doesn't have a choice. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, well, you can either die right now or spend the next 50 years in a box with me.
Exactly right. Yeah. But so creepiness aside from that comment,
You are saving her life.
I'm saving her life, and here's the thing: I think she's super hot, and she's also super smart. So she wouldn't be like complete. She'd be kind of fun to talk to, I feel like.
Yeah.
Although the more that I think about it, though, she's a lot smarter than me. So I guarantee you, she's gonna get super frustrated like pretty quickly.
When you're sitting in the corner eating your liquor packets.
Right, exactly. Yeah, my Fun Dip alcohol packets they're only gonna go so far with her.
Uh-huh.
I might have to rethink this one.
Well, because I think initially you always think of like, okay, who's just the hottest person I can bring down in here?
Yes.
But then like if they're just like as stupid as a wall, it's like that would just like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn you into alcohol pretty soon because I can't.
Like backfires.
You need somebody to hold a conversation with. That's where attractiveness is fine. But guess what? You're gonna have sex with anybody that's down there in that bunker. Eventually, it's gonna happen. I'm sorry. So it doesn't even matter at that point. You need somebody that you can like hold a conversation with, and whatever. So part of me started thinking, oh shoot, what's her name from used to be on SNL, used to do the weekend updates.
Oh, Tina Fey?
Yeah, I'd consider Tina Fey. I feel like she'd be entertaining. You could talk to her. She'd be funny.
She'd have like the same cynical attitude about this, I feel like.
Yeah. Or even the other one, the blonde one. Now I'm totally drawing blanks on all of them.
Amy Poehler?
Yeah. They both seem like they'd be kind of, fun and, have as much fun as you can, when, everyone else in the world is dead.
Right.
But I feel like, okay, yeah, they are attractive, but more importantly, you're not going to go crazy with them because you just can't have a conversation with them. But
yes,
maybe they go crazy from trying to talk to me for the entire time. That's a different story. But it's just like, you can't just take the porn star down with you and be like, this is going to be fun. It'll be fun for about a week before they
right, exactly.
Before they start having like blow withdrawals or something. And they're just like they're just like
Yes.
shaking in the corner. It's like, well, this really backfired.
Right. I made a bad choice at this point.
Yeah, she just ate 6 years worth of pizza rolls. I'm out. We are. Oh no.
And that's gonna happen. She's gonna have no respect for the apocalypse. She'll just eat all the junk food.
Yeah.
You gotta ration it out.
Yeah.
You know.
And now that
I
she's
want to
not,
go through.
now that she's
Oh, go
not
ahead.
doing all those drugs, she's just gonna like balloon out. So the person that you
Oh,
thought
yeah,
was
man.
coming down with you is not who you know. It's like, all right, you're gonna have to get on that that generating bicycle over there. And
You're you're on perpetual bike duty until you work off those Twinkies.
yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I might have to go with somebody like that unless I discover that like Scarlett Johansson is like super intelligent. Then I might have to call an audible and like kick them out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you two, wait right here.
Right, exactly. Like, hold on a second.
And yes.
So, open invitation to Scarlett Johansson, Natalie Portman, Tina Fey, and Amy Poehler.
Yeah.
If the world ends and we have a bunker, you you have a shot.
Yeah, they're we might have to take straws, but
Right.
yeah. You know, you mentioned the like the pass list that every like couple has. I'm curious, what is you and your wife's pass lists? Like, you guys have to have talked about that before.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've like run them down, like all the way. I know on Emily's side it is Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal is on there.
Yeah, I was gonna throw that. Like, even I knew that one. Like,
right.
if she ever meets Jake and Jake's into it, I'm sorry, Chris, you're
It's
toast.
right. The only thing you can ask is just like, can I just hang out in the corner while this goes down? Or
Yeah.
is that
Can I sit in the closet that has like the blinds on it and just kind of
Right,
watch
exactly.
creepily through the door?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll kind of pretend that I'm not there. So that's one. Another one would be James Franco, although he's in a little bit of some hot water right now.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody else in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, every guy in Hollywood's in hot water right now.
He's kind of one of those guys where you sort of were waiting for this one though. It was like, yeah, of course of course there's allegations coming out against him.
Yeah.
So those two definitely. On my side, it was Natalie Portman has been a consistent top 3. And for a little bit of time, there was like Kirsten Dunst was on there back
Okay.
when she was like in the Spartan movies.
Mm.
But Scarlett Johansson has been steadily creeping up into that.
Yeah.
So I think it would be probably a push between the Portman or Johansson
That,
at the end of it.
I don't know, just from the interviews, which again mean nothing. People could be giant assholes in their real lives, but she seems pretty chill and cool from the random ass interviews I've seen. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm still. There's a website where like celebrities will auction off stuff, and it usually goes to charity. And there is one, I think it was about the time when that movie Her came out, and Scarlett Johansson, like voiced the computer in that movie.
Yeah.
And one of the things you could pay, or it was like an auction to win, was Scarlett Johansson records your voicemail message. And I'm like, I tell you what, I would be calling my own phone
Right.
all day,
Right.
every day, and how that'd be the worst if you're like screwing around just like in like the settings and you accidentally delete that.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you're
no,
just
no.
never
No.
you're never getting that back.
Yeah.
You're calling Verizon or whatever right away.
Yeah.
Like, yo, whatever you got to do, make it happen.
Yeah.
Retrieve this voicemail message for me, please.
Yeah. Even Robin Williams did that too. And like that'd be kind of kick ass now. Like
Yeah, right?
that'd be just a funny ass voicemail. Like people would just be calling in nonstop.
Right.
But yeah,
That'd be pretty neat.
that's a solid. I hope Emmy is prepared to realize that you are very close to actually meeting these people. Like,
Right. Well, the same could be true also on the other side, and I'm already gearing up for it. So it's like, look, this was an agreement that we had.
yeah, It's actually in the wedding contract. Like it's on
Right,
like
exactly.
page
Yeah,
4,
I
section 7.28.
yep, I
Celebrity.
had it engraved on the inside of my wedding band.
That would be amazing. Just like, uh,
So can't. It's irrefutable at that point.
oh yeah, I mean it's literally written in stone.
Yes, yeah,
That'd be fun. It's engraved into the ring that into the diamond. You can only see it when you like looking at it under a microscope. It's like,
yes, right.
it says Chris is allowed to sleep with Natalie Portman or Scarlett Johansson, and well, it's on the ring, and you said yes, so I'm pretty sure.
I mean, doesn't get more clear than that.
Yeah, yeah.
And come on, you need a creepy icebreaker with these two anyway, right? It's like,
Mhm.
hey, I got your name engraved in my wedding ring as one of my passes.
How many passes are those two people on? Like,
Oh, dude, like just all of them, pretty much.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. No kidding.
But hey, it's not like I'm gonna put like some rando on the pass list.
Oh no. You need somebody that you can like.
That's the whole point of it. These guys like go big or go home at that point, right?
Uh huh.
I mean, no offense, cute extra in the last movie that I saw, but
Yeah.
you're not making it.
Yeah. So, one of the greatest feathers in my relationship cap, and there's not many feathers there. Let's put that one out there. But one girl I dated for a little bit, she actually turned Derek Jeter down for a one night stand thing. So
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, suck it, Jeter. Oh no, I'm sorry, you couldn't. So I got one on Jeter. Yes.
Oh, that's like gold right there.
I know.
I hate the Yankees, and I've always hated Jeter in general.
Which is funny because he's from Michigan, like the state of. I think he was from Kalamazoo, wasn't he?
Yeah, didn't he go to U of M? Didn't he play for those guys?
Yeah, because I actually have like back when baseball cards were actually a thing. I have his rookie card, and he had there was something with Michigan stuff on there. I don't know if he actually played, or if he started and then he got picked up real quick.
Right, 'cause baseball's weird with that. I don't know how it really works
Yeah.
with minors and all that other stuff.
I think it's
But yeah,
similar
he's
to
got
hockey.
Michigan ties.
It's kind of similar to hockey. Like a lot of the players, who are playing for like college hockey teams have already been drafted. But
Yeah.
it's like they get better or more attention, playing in a big time hockey program than maybe going to like a minor league team.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's that's a good feather right there
So,
to keep.
That is it's there. Can't
Right,
I mean,
suck it, Jeter. Can't take it back. It's a fact.
yeah.
You
yeah.
got shot down. Who what? How badly does Jeter go away? Like he probably hated that person, but it just burned him up.
Oh yeah.
Like he couldn't believe it that happened.
Yeah, you actually talked to somebody that wasn't a complete floozy, or somebody that you weren't on their, list.
Right. Exactly.
And yeah, so that is a maybe if I ever meet Jeter one day, it's like, so I'm one
Funny
up on
story.
you. Yeah, funny story.
Right.
Funny story. But so all right, we might as well. Basically, we were packing our Fallout shelter with Simpsons, a still, a thing to make meth, and Scarlett Johansson. So,
right.
and powdered
right.
alcohol. That sounds like a great. I mean, we could have some fun for a little while.
That's what I mean, man.
Yeah.
And a mountain island bunker to boot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're set.
We got to start looking up mountain islands for sale, or
Yeah. Yes. Right. Just filing away options.
yeah, or for conquest. One of the two.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. Everybody, there's not been a good conquest in a while.
No. No. Well, there's still like little islands, especially I think it's like in Southeast Asian, like Philippines area, where there's actually like tribes that haven't been touched by people in like ever. And if somebody shows up, they're always like getting like murdered by like arrows and stuff. I've always felt like you could just land with like a World War II like landing cruiser, and have just like like armor from the Middle Ages and a flamethrower attached, and it's like you will be God, or
And
you'll just
you're set.
yeah. So
Not to necessarily get into a tangent, but like, how are these explorers just losing to poison darts all the time? Like, learn to take some damn armor and stuff with you. You live in the 21st century.
yeah,
You're getting beat by sticks and rocks.
I think it's more of society looking down on you for wiping out the last of a tribe. I think that's for
I
some
mean, I'm not
reason.
saying I want to wipe them out,
Right.
but if they keep throwing sticks and rocks at me, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a legitimate argument in a court of law. It's like he was throwing a stick at me,
Right.
so I pulled out my bazooka and shot back. I mean,
It's like, look, I was trying to take these people's land and bring them into the 21st century. You're welcome.
yeah.
And they weren't having it. So, yeah.
It's like I'm pretty sure there's precedent, the United States. So I don't know how they could say you're not allowed to do that.
Right,
It's like
exactly.
there was established precedent for this.
Yes.
Our
Right.
country was
Right.
based on it. So you can't even shake your finger at me because this whole thing's happening because that happened. So
Yeah. Right.
I'm just following the American dream and conquesting an island with my flamethrower and armor.
Yeah, so I can build my sweet meth Scarlett Johansson populated bunker. Like, what's the problem with
Yeah,
it?
I see nothing wrong with this. They're just short-sighted. That's all it is.
That is it. That's it.
But all right, what is your beverage number 2 for the post-apocalyptic alcoholic Chris?
Okay, post-apocalyptic alcoholic Chris is stocked up on some Sam Adams,
Okay.
and I'm going with the Cold Snap. This is a seasonal brew. It's a white ale with spices. And it's saying no, actually, that's just an independent brewers association. Wow, I didn't know they even had that. They're not really an independent brewer association to me. But
Sam
whatever,
Adams?
go
Yeah, no
for it.
kidding.
Sam Adams, go for it. This is a weird label, not to go into this, but I've not seen this before. Brewers Associated Certified Independent Craft. It's a beer bottle upside down. I thought for a second that they were asking me to.
Yeah, that's a new logo that they're like stamping on stuff, so you it's not like Budweiser or like InBev and stuff are like kind of like trick people into thinking it's a
Yeah, right,
it's a
right.
micro beer, but it's not really like was it Goose Island and those different kinds of things. So yeah, I think they actually created that so it's more identifiable. So for a fact. Although it's kind of tricky. There's certain things like Founders is technically not a microbrewery anymore because
really?
Because they have they teamed up with I believe San Miguel, I believe, to help with distribution for a little bit.
Interesting.
I mean, and San Miguel has a small ownership of the company, but because there's some sort of external macro beer, anything involved, they are technically not a micro brewery anymore, according to this beer, whatever. So
I did not know that.
yeah,
That's interesting.
It's real sticky. I think there's probably other breweries like that would fall into that category. But it's not like it didn't change how they make their beers or whatever.
No, they're still doing great stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of allows it to like reach me in Arizona. Like I think like Founders you can find a Founders beer in like 35, 40 states now in some capacity. So
Yeah, and like breweries shouldn't be penalized for that kind of distribution. That's like one of the ultimate goals. They don't have to become a Budweiser. Remember when Hoegaarden sold out to who'd they sell out to?
Oh yeah, they sold out to Budweiser and now it's part of
Budweiser,
InBev.
right?
That was
Oh, that was horrible.
the day that I found that out, like part of my soul died because that's. Although if I find Hoegaarden on draft, I will still get it pretty much every time. There's
Yes, me too.
something about a Hoegaarden on draft. It just tastes incredible.
It's awesome. And actually, this Cold Snap tastes very similar to a Hoegaarden.
Okay.
Like an old Hoegaarden, actually.
Ah.
This one's not. I'm kind of digging this.
Okay.
This white ale with spices, Cold Snap. It's definitely got that sort of silky, What's like the spice mix that they that's typical of these kinds of beers?
Oh man.
Is it like coriander?
That,
Is that one of them?
maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
There's a little caramely-ness in there. This is not bad. I like this.
it's almost
This brew.
like a summer beer with a little dash of Christmas seasoning, almost. Like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
little,
yeah.
I don't know. I love a good wheat beer, and it's always disappointing when you get one and it sucks. And it's just
Yes.
like, ugh, man. Like,
This one I'm definitely digging.
okay,
I like it.
that's good. Actually, yeah, we're getting close to the spring seasonals coming up now.
Yeah, man. They're like a month. They're gonna be here.
Yeah, which is, I don't know. All the beers in Arizona are made for hot weather climates, which I mean, it makes sense. You make beer for the locale, but it doesn't help with the kind of beers that you're getting. When you're
Right.
someone like me looking for something that's not just like piss,
Yes, exactly. Right.
there's not a lot of great. Yeah, there's some okay beers around here, but it's not like, I don't know, like not like a Michigan or Colorado or stuff like that. But
Seasons, man. You gotta have. I think they go a long way to getting some good beer variety.
yeah, have you seen a brewery? It's called, oh man, it's like called Firestone. I think it's out of California.
What do they make? Let me look them up. Firestone.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't strike me as something I've had right off the bat.
Okay, well, Firestone. Well, you know Duvel, the Belgian beer. One of the great Belgian beers that you can get here. Duvel has like connections, or they, I guess, oversee a handful of breweries in the United States. You have Omegang out of New York, and Omegang makes
Yeah.
some fantastic beers. And actually, I just learned not too long ago. I don't know how long it's been going on, but they own Firestone. It's out of California, and I have heard fantastic things about a lot of the beers that they do. And I don't know, maybe it just doesn't. It's not in Michigan because maybe the distribution isn't as wide yet with Firestone because
It might not be because I don't even recognize the label. Is it Firestone Walkery? Is that it?
yeah, Firestone
Walker
Walker
Brewing Company?
Brewing Company, yeah.
Yeah, no. So I looked them up, and I've not seen. Pretty distinctive. I mean, it's a lion and a bear fighting, which I think is amazing.
Yeah,
And I would have definitely remembered this had I seen it around here.
Let's see.
Well, there's no one in there asking if I was 20 over this
Yeah.
website.
Well,
Oh, that's good.
there's a website. It's a fantastic website. If anybody ever wants to find out if like a certain brewery is available in their area, it's called secretbrew.com. And you can search by brewery,
Nice.
and it'll show you where, like, if it's available in that state or whatnot. So let's see, Firestone Walker. Firestone Walker is not available in the state of Michigan. The closest state would be Illinois or Pennsylvania. Like nothing in the southeast. It's all-
Illinois or Pennsylvania? Does it get into Ohio at all?
No Indiana or Ohio or Wisconsin. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
you have most of the like Pacific West Coast, minus New Mexico, and it's in Texas, and it's got like a weird strip. Like it's in Nebraska, Missouri, and into Illinois, and then it's on to the East Coast, like Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia. But yeah, all the Southeast, state of Michigan, and then the northern part of the United States. It's not in there, but yeah, I've heard a lot of great things. Maybe if I'm hopefully getting back into Michigan in a few months.
Yes,
I'll try to bring
yes.
some of those over because if Duvel, that was one of the first beers that I think we had that was really like eye opening for what a brewery could do.
Yep.
And it's just like,
Yep.
holy hell, like a beer can taste like this. And we tried Omegang, and I think originally we thought Omegang was a Belgian brewery.
We did. We didn't know that it was out of New York,
Yeah,
right?
I think we felt a little duped, but it's like, you know what, whatever. As long as it's great tasting,
No,
that's
it's
all.
still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And so they own Omegang, and then this Firestone Walker. So if you guys are on the West Coast or New York, Pennsylvania area,
Find it.
find it and check it out. Because I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it.
Nice.
I don't know how I went on that tangent.
I don't know.
We're-
It's a good tangent. I
We're
like
talking
it.
about seasonal beers, and then, yeah, I don't know. But, anyways, the
Got
beer,
there.
yeah,
Good
the beer
information.
I'm doing is also a Sam Adams, and we have a Sam Adams reason, and we'll get into that in a second. But it is an Oktoberfest, so yeah, it's a little dated, but
That's all right.
like
It will be in a fallout shelter.
yeah, I can't, like, I have no qualms with Sam Adams. I think they're fine.
So do I. I don't. It's not like I'm not. Let me put it this way. I'm not like a roadie. I'm not a Sam Adams roadie. You know, if I see something on draft or whatever, like I'm not. It's not my first choice.
Right.
I like the guys. I like what they're doing. I think they've been like incredibly instrumental. They're probably like the first real small operation that made it into like a national scale.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you look at Sam Adams, for me the same way. It's not like my first choice, but it's at least not going to be really crappy. Like you're like, okay, if you don't have a lot of options, like, okay, I'll go with the Sam Adams. I know it's going to taste a little better than the other things on tap or whatever. So, but all right, yeah, I got this Oktoberfest poured, and let's give it a sip. And yeah, it's fine. It's a general Oktoberfest beer, which is there's a lot of weird seasonal classifications at the latter half of the year. Like once you start moving from summer into fall into winter, there's a lot of just strange like seasonal beers. You'll have like your fall beers, you have your Oktoberfest, you have your pumpkin beers, and then you get kind of more into the Christmas stuff, and it's just
Right.
It's strange, Not strange, but you just have a lot of different things going on.
Yeah. No. Beer drinkers know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. It's so hard to stay up on top of all the seasonal beers too, anyways.
And nowadays, like it has to. I usually go by brand now if I see a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Because it's become such a weird marketing technique where it's like, oh, it's seasonal, and like, yeah, but what does that really? Did you just throw a bunch of crap into your, vat and hope it stuck, or
A
is it
lot of times I'm gonna
legit
say
seasonal
yes.
thing?
A lot of
Right,
times.
right.
Yeah. Like sometimes you'll try it. It's like this is even like the right season. I feel like you just wanted a reason to put out this crappy IPA because it's not good enough to be year round. So you just decided to just we'll just throw it out. Whatever.
That's maybe a good indicator of if it's just like total BS or not.
Right.
A seasonal IPA is like, give me a break with this.
Yep.
Like
I mean,
whatever beer of choice, or like you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like your Christmas beer, you're not going to sell it in the middle of the summer because it's hot and nobody wants to drink it. So
Exactly.
It makes sense why you'd have it during that time of year. But a seasonal IPA means it's just going to be trash because
Totally. They're just like throwing IPA on there, and then whatever they decided to toss into the 18 cinnamon sticks and some butterscotch candy IPA. Like what the hell?
Yeah. This is on a we didn't schedule this thing, but okay, so the IPA was like I think the first real super huge microbrewery kind of beer style. It was kind of like you got your sprinkling of any other kind, but for whatever reason the IPA just like exploded, and it's been huge for the last several years. That's like you're looked down upon if you don't like anything under 80 IBU. And then it went a little further. I mean, and then recently like the sours kind of picked up. Sours
are picking up. Yep.
I think that's almost like an anti IPA because people that don't like that ultra bitterness, like okay, this is a little more fruity, maybe a little soury, whatever. But what do you think the next possible like style of beer that's going to be popular is going to be? It might not happen for a little while, but do you have like a feeling?
Oh, that is a great choice or a good question. I mean, you know what? I've said this before and it hasn't panned out, but I'm waiting for this to happen. It's the lambic. I don't think anybody's really pushing these lambics that much anymore.
Well, I think some of the sours are almost based off of lambics, where it's like
That's true. That's true.
like let's just make it extra sour or
Right,
something.
right. Like when I think of sour, I'm usually thinking of like the lambics that I've had though with like the blackberry and the closer that you get to almost it being like a wine,
Uh-huh.
is sort of where I kind of see these things kind of going next.
Yeah.
The only reason too is like you look at these. Here's where my thought process is. We had the shandies explode from
Oh,
Line and
yeah.
Kugels. I don't
Yeah.
know why they just decided to do every shandy imaginable, but they did. You've also got these alcoholic sodas popping up
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah.
Root beers. I saw one orange soda, grape soda. So like I almost feel like there'll be a slight return to form of some sort,
Okay.
and especially with the sour popularity, a true lambic though, like something that's actually called like a lambic.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that are trying to push these things that much.
No, you don't see a lot of lambics on like at your local microbrewery or brew pub or whatever. It's all the sours. So
Yeah, right, or the IPAs, but that's kind of where I see it, only because I feel like it's super underrepresented. But where do you see it?
oh man, that's a good question because you can't really. I mean, you're not going to do porters or stuff like that. Those are just always going to be kind of their collective audience and everything.
Yeah, they're too niche. That's what I was thinking too. Like they're just the people that like porters and stouts. You're not going to get the floozy buying porter,
Yeah.
but they're buying IPAs. They're buying sours right now.
So I don't know if there's like a man. Yeah, I don't know. And like wheat beers is only so much because a shandy is basically a wheat beer with fruit juice added into it, and so
Yeah.
that's I don't know because you have the extreme flavors right now, bitter or sour. So it's like,
Right.
is there a salty beer that's out there that you could do up somehow? Like, I feel like the flavors need to be extreme, so you just like, I don't know.
Salty might maybe there is. I feel like we've had some kind of a salty-ish beer before.
Probably, yeah, because
Man, what was it though?
that's a good question. But I think the IPA almost got big just because of the snooty beer drinker who was just like, to you,
Right.
and just like when that got super big, I felt like it got really hard for certain people to get into beer because it's like I just don't like this ultra bitter beer. It's like getting into coffee, but not being allowed to add sugar or cream or anything into it. It's like a lot of people aren't going to get into coffee if that's the only option. So
Yes. For me, like I think it was the Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA where I was like, okay, we've reached peak bitterness for like a beer. Like I don't need essentially a shot of straight alcohol in a 16-ounce glass or whatever that tastes like super bitter.
yeah,
For me, I was like that's crazy. I don't mind the 60-minute, but I think I don't know if there's one higher than 120, but whatever it is,
max is at 120. I think, yeah.
I think that's
60
like
and 90 and then 120. Yeah, I think.
right. And that one for me was like it was just balls expensive for a
Right.
4-pack, and this was like 10 years ago probably
Yeah.
when we were drinking them. But it was like a 4-pack for more than $12, which is what I want to say it was back then, was almost unheard of.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
basically laughed out of the room when people are like, "Why did you pay, $4 a bottle for this stuff?"
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like, well, you can't get it and all the other stuff, but like that to me, it was just like this is just kind of silly now. It's
Yeah.
just too bitter.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say for me, I think the next beer it's gonna be more a hybrid with like added flavor, where you have a spring beer where you still have a little bit of IPA or bitterness to it, but you have more of an additional flavor added to it, like post brewing.
Okay.
So it brings. It's almost like, because I feel like that's just one of the. I don't know. I just feel like that's the next thing. Maybe you have a wheat
Yeah,
beer with it's not a shandy, but you have some like a salted caramel wheat beer
Yeah.
or something like that. I
Yeah,
just feel
exactly.
like
Something like
I feel like that's kind of be the next thing. You're gonna have somebody release something like that, and it'll catch on, and then everyone else will have to do it.
Yep.
But yeah, okay, that was our random side tangent on beer for the last 20 minutes. But so we had picked out Sam Adams from Boston beers because it directly ties into the latest Fallout video game, Fallout 4, which takes place in Boston. So it's like, well, that kind of connects nicely into the whole Fallout post-apocalyptic, discussion we're going to have today. And so we just wanted to give a shout out a little bit to the Fallout series, because that might be my favorite video game series currently, for a while actually. I remember
consistently, it's just been so good.
yeah, I remember I had a PlayStation. I think I had a gift card for Best Buy or something. I just wanted a game, and I saw the Fallout 3 for sale. Never played any of the other ones at the time. I was like, that looks okay. Just buy it. And it was awesome. And I'm almost positive I talked to you later. It's like, have you tried this game? You're like, yes, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we did.
And so, yeah, we wanted to just talk about like our favorite Fallout stuff or, whatever. So, what is your favorite Fallout game of the series?
So I've got to color this a little bit because I am one of those late Fallout people. Like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't play the PC version, so I never played 1 or 2. But I also heard of it secondhand from an old high school buddy of mine who we used to play the Resident Evil games back in the day when they were like actual survival horror type games where you had to manage
Right.
resources and anyway he was like, you got to try this, it's crazy, it's awesome. And on a whim, like, had no idea really about what it was and gave it a shot. And then I remember when you called me up and was like, I've got this game, I'm playing this game, and it was like, yes, it's basically doing the same thing. I just started it, and it's Fallout 3. And so I've only played Fallout 3, New Vegas, 4, and then some of the Fallout Shelter thing that was an app game. And I've looked at the other, Fallout 1 and 2. I've seen like the gameplay footage, and it looks fine. Like, don't get me wrong. If I ever had I don't really work on a PC. So I've never really had a gaming thing outside of a console.
Right.
So if it maybe hit the PlayStation Store or something like that, I'd probably download it and play it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But out of all the ones that I've played, like, I think it is Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm.
For me. Like, I like the DLC content in it. I feel like a lot of the other ones, I mean, Vegas was built off of the Fallout 3 engine. Fallout 4 with its updated graphics and everything is good, and there's a ton of elements that I really, really like about Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because I haven't spent enough time in Fallout 4, even though I've spent like a lot of time in it,
Yeah.
But I just like I really kind of played through a ton of the Fallout 3 stuff, and that was like the first. It's like you always kind of remember the first one or whatever, and that was for me. That's why it's got like a special place when I think back on it.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Like, Fallout 3 probably is for me, the best one that I've had. And again, I'm like you. I came along later, so I didn't play the PC stuff. And actually, I envisioned myself at some point, probably within the next 6 months, buying just like a cheap, crappy PC laptop or something, just so I can download some of these old games. Because again, that good old games website, GOG.com, they have all these games, and it's all like $4.99.
Yeah, and they're all great.
Yes, and so yeah, one of these days I'm just gonna have like a gaming laptop of old games, and I'll get around to that. But yeah, Fallout 3. I mean, yeah, and there's a lot of just like gameplay elements to Fallout 4 that I like a lot better. Like your
Yes.
weapon doesn't break in the middle of using it. That was always like a killer in Fallout 3. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you have
That
like
sucked.
ghouls, like AKA zombies, like all over you, and your shotgun just disappears because it broke, and it's just like,
Right.
oh no. And so that was always like I totally understand why they had it. I mean, you're cobbling together, a weapon. So yeah, it'll break. But I like the Fallout 4 elements of that you can like upgrade it and do all these different things.
Yeah, the weapon building side of it to me is one of my favorite parts of Fallout 4.
Yeah. Yeah. The customization factors on Fallout 4 are great, and that's always good. And I like that you can basically build a settlement and do those kind of things. That's nice.
Yes.
But just like maybe it's the story wise or something about Fallout 3 is just, yeah, it's just, and then Fallout, I think it's cool because you're in the capital, and so you have a lot of those like familiar like landmarks everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yep.
And I think I was kind of like not bummed out, but disappointed that Fallout 4 was in Boston, and it was in like it looks very similar. And so I guess I was kind of hoping for like a completely different look. Maybe pushing it out into California, because every game, even apparently I think some of the early like Fallout 1 and 2 is like they reference California a lot. And so
They do.
As almost, I mean, and in the New Vegas especially, I mean, you're so close to California, but I think a good like something in San Francisco would have been cool.
It would have been. You could have done. You also could have done Alaska.
Yeah.
Because wasn't there some? Did you play the DLC stuff for Fallout 3?
I didn't play the DLC stuff for the third one. Or
There
not,
was one mission I think where you were in, like you played through, the missiles hitting Alaska. I thought I'll have to look again.
I think that's right. I think you like aren't you part of like Brotherhood of Steel or whatever, and you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
But I mean, you know what I mean? They could have done something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I do like some of the DLC for Fallout 4. There's a Far Harbor thing it's basically like a little like seaport town in New England, and it's really cool looking. The whole thing's really like foggy, and it's got a nice feel to it. And I mean, there's another one that's like you're in basically an amusement park, and that's it's fine. It's got its own little elements. But
right.
And then there's a few random add-ons that give you a few extra missions, but nothing that special. But yeah,
I've heard it's really good. I haven't played any of the DLC stuff yet for Fallout 4. A buddy of mine had the Nuka-Cola. I think it's the amusement park one.
Yeah.
And he really liked it. And I've heard you talking about the Far Harbor, and that sounded like pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as just like ranking them for me, it's just I don't know. I spent more time with Fallout 3, and don't get me wrong, like if they put out another Fallout series, like I'm probably gonna get it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I liked New Vegas. I liked that it was totally different, in the desert and everything. That was cool. Yeah, the story was kind of weak, but
Right.
But that was cool. I mean, the same people that make the Skyrim or whatever. Series, and those are really awesome. I think one of the very first like wide open games that I played was their Morrowind. I think that was number 3 on the.
Yeah. Yep.
And I still remember. So your open or the tasks that you have were like written down basically in like a journal. And you open it up and it'd like flip pages, but it wouldn't cross off what you'd accomplished. So you'd have like 100 pages you have to flip through and read. Like, did I do that? I don't know. Why aren't you crossing this off?
Man. Right. Like I don't need to know this stuff if it's done.
Yeah, rip that page out, man. So that was annoying, but it was. I don't know, it's cool. And then you find out ways to just kind of hack your levels up. It's like, okay, so if I just jump instead of walk everywhere, I'll get my like athletic like whatever up.
Just people just jumping all the way through that game.
Yeah. Or you're just walking, like swinging your sword at nothing. It's like, yes.
And nothing. Yes. Building up my sword skill here.
Yeah.
I never played Morrowind. I started with Obsidian, which was 4.
Yeah.
And then, man, they've got like such a cash train. Bethesda is just how much money is going into that company
Oh,
between
yeah.
Elder Scrolls and Fallout. What else do they make? Oh, they make Dishonored, and that was actually a
Yeah.
good series.
I think they make a lot of kind of open world type games. It's got to take a lot of money to develop some of those too, though.
Oh, dude, like it's got to. But they've released Skyrim like on every console to come out since PlayStation 3. It's been on I think, I don't know, maybe it's not on Xbox, but it's at least, I think it is. PC definitely. PS4 got a revamp.
Uh-huh.
Switch just got it. They just did a VR version of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like they just got just revamping that game as much as they can. I mean, good for them. It's a good game.
yeah.
But
Oh, good old. I'm trying to think if there's anything real. I mean, I've owned a PlayStation 4 for a while, and that's like the only game I've really ever played on it.
yeah, yeah. I don't have many of them, honestly. Like, I did the Uncharted, the 4th one, because I like that series.
Uh-huh.
I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 15 on it because I heard good things about that, and it's a good game. It's not bad. I bought a game, Gravity Rush 2, for Berkeley, but in general, though, Fallout 4 has been, I put a lot of time into that one.
Uh-huh. Okay, so I just looked up Bethesda to see what other games they make.
Yeah.
They make the Wolfenstein series, and I actually saw that the last one was
Oh, I
pretty
heard
cool.
really good things about that one,
They
yeah.
make that. They make Quake. They make the classic video game that all of us growing up in the 90s know of, Doom. So,
Yeah. Oh, did they? They did do that. I have that one. I haven't played that one all the way yet.
So, yeah, they have some solid games.
Super solid franchises, yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's... I'm trying to scroll through. They don't have a... They don't have a whole lot of others, but... I mean...
Yeah, yeah. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Pick up the slack.
It's not like I mean, okay.
That's
Here's the roll down. You got Wolfenstein, you got Dishonored, you got Quake, Doom, Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls, Fallout. It's like so basically every game is like legit.
Yeah, slackers.
Yeah, come on, man. I need a Fallout every year. I would
Seriously.
never get anything done.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not talking DLC, man. I'm talking about brand new game. Put
Yeah.
that stuff. That was my biggest hangout with Fallout 4 was it just felt a lot like Fallout 3, and the environment just didn't seem all that different.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was my one thing. It was like it's too similar, man. It is just. I want it to look different. Heck, give me one that takes place in like Russia or China or something. Just make it like
That'd be crazy.
make
Like the other side of it.
yeah, you're island hopping in the like in the Philippines or something.
Right. I would dig that.
Yeah. But all right, moving on from our Fallout series. Unless you have something else you'd like to say.
No, that's really about it. I think Fallout 3 made such an impression on, the next gen stuff in general. Everything's been kind of cookie cutter from there. They haven't really pushed the envelope of what that series is
Right.
beyond updating the graphics and adding a bunch more missions, but
Yeah. Well, all
which,
right.
hey, work. Still
We're
fun.
We're gonna get to our beer or drink number 3 for the night, and so what do you have for your third drink?
Okay, I saved the worst for last in this situation.
Uh,
And the way that I'm thinking about it in terms of like the Fallout theme or whatever is if I'm in this situation, like I'm not reserving things. I'm burning through the best stuff first, unless it ages well, and I'm just like trying to make it through. And if it doesn't happen, fine, whatever. But like I don't want to waste anything, right? So the last thing that I've got is a classic Carroll household staple, which is the Labatt Blue Light Canadian Pilsner.
Nice.
Not to say that's a bad beer, but this is definitely back into the swill country a little bit. You know, this is like one of those mass-produced, very generic. You know, although out of all the other generic ones, for me, the Labatt Company is probably the one that I consistently go to.
Right.
But my thinking is like, look, this beer, if this is the last beer that's left around after all the good stuff is gone, this thing is going to taste so good anyway. Like, it's not going to matter.
Right. Yeah. At that point, it's like, doesn't any beer, it's like if you spend like years and you're stumbling through the wasteland and you find this, you're going to crack it open and you're just going to pound it.
Oh, yeah. And like savor every second of it. So,
yeah.
So, you know, it's definitely a beer I'm familiar with, and maybe other people are too, but doesn't really have much of anything going on for it except, you know, being a light beer. You can crush a few of these and not feel horrible in the morning or whatever, but nothing to write home about.
Right.
But tasty. It's right up there with, like, if I'm going to drink this kind of a mass-produced beer, I kind of always go at least the Canadian route. They can do it better, I think, than the Budweisers.
Right. So you got your Molsons and your Labatts.
Yeah. Yep.
So I went along a similar line where it's like, okay, maybe you crawl out of your shelter and the world is just on fire, and you just go through like months without or years without drinking a beer, and then you stumble upon this, and it doesn't matter how bad it is, you're going to taste it and drink it and love it because it's that first beer that you've had, probably just piss warm too.
Right.
And so I'm gonna, let's see, crack it. Oh no.
Oh, this is like how it would actually go.
It literally just exploded on me. I don't.
Which one was it?
I don't know if you could you hear that?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh man.
Sounds like a mess
It is a giant mess.
in the Ferguson household.
I gotta dry this out. It was good old Mickey's.
Oh man.
I just had a Mickey's explode.
Contents under pressure. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Maybe there's something weird in my refrigerator because I just, or 2 weeks ago, reviewed the Southern Tier IPA, and I cracked it open. The whole thing exploded on me. And it's like,
Were they in the back? The back of the fridge?
Yeah. Is there like a bad thing with the back of their fridge?
I think they're colder back. I've had stuff that just gets super, super cold back there.
Uh-huh.
And I've had like similar situations where it's like almost like freezer temperatures back there.
Oh, maybe that's it. Because, yeah, it did the same thing. It just exploded. And that's what Mickey's just did. It just like, it just, I'm just like, oh no.
Oh man. Can you imagine if you had found that and it had done that?
Oh, that would have been disaster.
I'm like, no. Like, why is this happening? What did I do in a past life for this?
I just want to drink this and enjoy it.
Right. It's like the universe is like, here's a beer for you. Yes, it's not a great brand, and it's nothing that you'd probably buy consistently. And, oh, haha, it's going to explode everywhere when you open it up.
Yeah. Of course, it's just like drying into the carpet and.
Right, exactly, yes.
Oh, what are you doing to me? It's like, I called you bad.
Seriously.
It's more of a, just got to dry off the computer.
Oh, yeah. These liquid mishaps around electronics are always, like, terrifying.
And this is why I don't buy crappy beers, because this happened.
Yeah, this shit happens.
Yeah, that was... So I got
Mickey's. Straight Mickey's or what?
Straight Mickey's, 24-ounce can of Mickey's.
Oh, man.
So now if I were to go outside, I'd be instantly stopped by a police officer.
Yes, exactly.
I just reek of booze. It just... I wish there would have been like a video camera recording that because it's just like... because I stopped at the so you could get like the sound on the microphone, but that like just started like spraying everywhere. It didn't just overflow. It just
Uh, yeah, you definitely got the sound bite though. It goes on for a little bit. It's like, oh, that beer is going everywhere.
Oh man. Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna sip this stupid beer.
Ah, fantastic.
It tastes very metally, but it's actually not that bad.
It's a Mickey's, right?
Yeah. Oh shit.
I didn't know they made 24-ounce cans. I've only seen them in the bottles.
Right.
The narrow bottle mouth, uh, like 40s.
Or the grenades.
Oh, I haven't seen the
You see,
grenades.
They
in
look like
forever.
they're yeah. It's just shaped like a grenade.
Yeah.
So I had 24 ounces, and I had to almost tip it back to 90 degrees. That's how much sprayed out.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. A lot of beer that was just going everywhere. A lot of bad beer that was just going everywhere.
Yeah, that was just oh man. Oh no! Don't! This is the first beer I've had in 6 months.
Right, exactly. Like, what kind of cruel universe is doing this to me?
It's like life does hate me. Good thing I didn't want this Esquire magazine. I had it resting on an Esquire magazine. It is not much Esquire anymore.
Oh man, yeah, that magazine is basically done.
Oh, that's fine. I got a free subscription, and it's like, which ones do you want? It's like it was like a home decorating thing and like planting flowers, and it's like, I'll just take Esquire. I'm never gonna read it, but fine.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some useful information.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, this one on the cover, it's the face of 2018, the year of John Bernthal, who's the guy that plays Punisher. So,
Interesting. Well, what else is he doing?
good question. I have no idea. Let's see. He's got him.
I mean, I like the guy, but like,
him
the
in a
year-
truck with a dog. It's an old truck.
pretty typical
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
No offense, but that's like you're playing the same character you played in Walking Dead in The Punisher.
Right. The New Man, page 40. All right, Esquire. Okay, it smells like Mickey's and / cologne samples. So,
Oh, good mix.
yeah.
It's a trigger warning for any bar floozy.
Yeah. That's when you're about to go on a date. We can't find anything. You just open up your magazine and smear the magazine over your neck.
Right, exactly.
Let's see. The blurb for the article is John Bernthal spent time in jail as a teenager, was menaced at gunpoint in Moscow in his 20s, and nearly killed a man when he was 32. As he takes
Oh.
his biggest role since The Walking Dead, starring in Netflix new series The Punisher, Bernthal tells Stephen Roderick how he finally learned to keep his demons at bay.
He does seem like one of those classic sort of tortured people.
Yeah,
You
maybe that's
know,
why he
when-
plays that in all of his roles. He's kind of
Right, exactly. I mean, he's just got it going on, I guess, that
Yeah.
way.
I'm not gonna read this whole.
Is he Russian? Why was he in Moscow?
Who knows? I guess maybe he was just visiting. He seems like a guy that'd be from like Jersey or the Bronx or something.
Yeah, he's definitely got that Jersey Bronxy kind of feel to him.
Yeah. And then the next section is called Whack-a-Mole Lester. And they have pictures of like Weinstein and all these guys like popping out of holes in like a whack-a-mole. So
Not far off.
yeah. Then you have Donald Trump peeking out of one of them.
Oh boy, yeah.
It's like, I always hate it when some of these magazines get like political stuff. It's like, this is not why I'm reading you.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I don't know, what are we gonna do with that at this point? Like,
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it happened, but I
Yeah.
mean, America, right, guys?
That was my reason. Like, I stopped reading Rolling Stones. It just got so political. It's like, this is not why I'm reading this. So, sorry, Rolling Stone magazine. I don't want your political input. If I wanted that, I'd be reading Newsweek.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But all right, now that we're post Mickey's exploding, um, and to be fair, okay, yeah, it really tastes metal, like ugh. But in terms of malt liquor, I think Mickey's is one of the better ones. Honestly,
Mickey's is my favorite malt liquor. Yes, hands down.
like I think they're not dumb enough to put it into a clear bottle, which is like you're already making piss bad beer. Don't put it into a clear bottle; it's gonna get even worse, like piss
Yeah,
bad.
right.
So I just will never get the. Let's just put it in a clear bottle. It's gonna taste even worse. Let's just do it. Just do it.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's a cheap Mexican beer staple. But then you got like Miller. It's like, come on, Miller, you know better than that. But I don't know. I guess their stuff sells fast enough. But all right, we're gonna get into our favorite post-apocalyptic just media. Anything, entertainment, TV, movies, comic book, that kinds of stuff. So
Yes,
not in a
yeah.
we're not doing top 5 or any particular order. We'll probably just kind of reference different things. But what are you thinking right off the bat for best post-apocalyptic stuff?
Best poke. Yeah, right. And spot on too, because like I didn't rank any of these. It's more or less just like kind of what pops into my head like right away. So the first one that I go to, this is I'm a big comic book guy. Um, and my favorite post-apocalyptic kind of thing is this DC comic series called Kingdom Come.
Okay.
And it was basically like, first of all, it was painted by a really cool artist called Alex Ross, who uses like live human beings to actually paint portraits instead of like just drawing and coloring it out. So the art was amazing. It all looked pretty realistic. And he also threw in a bunch of like Easter eggs, like the Three Stooges
Oh, nice.
and yeah, like Zorro here and there. Like you'd have to look at the pictures to kind of point them out. But the basic gist of this was that superheroes got to a point where it didn't make a lot of sense. One guy kind of killed a bunch of people and a bunch of restrictions on it, and this huge like post-apocalyptic kind of situation for superheroes. But it had like some really kind of cool philosophical underpinnings to it. It was written by one of my favorite writers, Mark Waid, who doesn't get enough credit in the comic realm in general. But just from the presentation, it was a mini series. It came out in 4 nicely bound books, and just like if you've not read it, there's a bunch of cool stuff that happens, like old Superman, old Green Lantern, old Batman. They all got to kind of come band together to combat this like ultra violent new breed of hero that's rising up from the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just like this kind of cool moment with the superheroes sort of being almost like nuclear weapons at some point,
Okay.
like weapons of mass destruction and what their effect is on humanity. So I kind of like that one a lot. And if you haven't read it, dude, I should send it to you because it's actually really good.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't read it. I'd check that out.
It's good. It's good.
Nice. I'm gonna throw a random one out, but it's one of my favorite from this company. And they put out a lot of great stuff. But I'm gonna go say Wall-E. I think Wall-E from Pixar is a surprisingly awesome post-apocalyptic like movie.
Wall-E, yes, Wall-E was amazing.
Just like I don't know, like there's basically no dialogue in like 90% of the movie, and it's just like a robot that just got left behind, and he's just packing up all the crap that humanity left behind. Like,
Yeah, he's just like going about his business, like, um, you know, Wally was the first movie that I really showed my daughter Berkeley,
okay.
and I liked it for the reason because there wasn't any real dialogue in there. You could kind of just sort of sit there and watch the movie
Right.
and whatever. And the animation when that thing first came out was like incredible.
Oh yeah, it's great. And it's like, I
I
mean,
remember,
you can never really go wrong with Pixar movies either.
no, but I remember when the trailer came out for that, and I was like so stoked to see that thing
Yeah.
in the theaters because, and like I didn't really get geeked about a cartoon really
Right.
um, until really that movie came out.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. That's just, I think they did interviews with their writers and director, and they're like, oh, we're not trying to make any kind of political state or just general statements. But I think it's, I mean,
I mean, how can you
humanity
not?
has evolved into just like fat blobs that have like no bone structure. Because it's like that is spot on. I promise you that is like it will continue to happen closer and closer to that. Of just like as more
Right.
stuff
That-
comes out, it's like no,
How
that is
you not
exactly
making
what's
that?
going to happen.
That's what you're doing, and then also you call the corporation by and large.
Yeah.
Like you're making a statement.
Yeah. It's like don't just. I think maybe they
Just
didn't want like,
embrace it.
yeah, they didn't want like families or whatever to be like, yeah, we're not gonna. It's like, no, you guys
Oh, right.
totally are
This whole
doing it.
thing about like oh being indoctrinated, but it's like no, just whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe the movie had an agenda. If it did, that's okay. It was a good movie.
yeah.
The agenda didn't get in front of my enjoyment of the movie.
And I think it's something that most people be like, yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen that way.
Yeah,
We're pretty slobbish slobs.
yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that one out there. I thought it was kind of like, I was like, oh yeah, I'll include that. This is like not really a bad guy per se in the movie. I mean, I can't imagine trying to pitch that. Like, it's
No,
like, okay,
you have to be who is he from Pixar that like actually had the he did Toy Story and all the other stuff.
yeah.
You got to be him to get that movie across the line. You just
Oh
have.
yeah, because it's like, okay, here's the thing: we have a movie. Nobody talks in it.
Right.
It's a box robot that makes boxes of trash, and there's not a bad guy, and it's just like, wait,
It's like
what? That's one of those things where you're just like, you have to be the head of Pixar and have like legitimate like credibility behind you, where it's like, trust me, this is gonna be good. And it's
Right.
like, okay. We also made Dinosaurs or Soars a few years ago, and that movie bombed. So we'll see how this all works out.
Yeah, so this better work. This better be good.
Yeah.
Wally was my first Blu-ray movie that I bought.
That was probably up there with me too. And
Yeah,
it
just
still looks
because-
great.
Yeah, it still looked amazing. And I just remember when that technology was kind of coming into its own, but like that was one of those movies where when you had guests over and I had the what it must have been the PS3. That was the only one that had like the Blu-ray capability, right?
Yeah.
The first one. And so like you'd have people come over and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, check this out." And we could easily put in Wally and have them be like, "Wow, that's actually kind of cool."
Yeah, just blow minds. Yeah. Well, speaking of blow minds, the Last Jedi is coming out on Ultra HD in March. I
Oh
mean.
no. Wow.
So it's like, all right, well, I guess I gotta get a new gotta get an Ultra HD TV and player. Great,
Right.
fine.
Right. Thanks. Okay. Now you'll have your Fallout bunker budget by that point. So
Oh
it'll be
yeah,
okay.
oh yeah, we'll be both just completely just rolling,
Right.
and just
Right.
in the green.
It'll be no problem.
Yeah. But all right, what is your next fall or thing?
Yeah, my next favorite one, not really favorite, but the other ones that I kind of think of is I really liked Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, that was real good. Yeah.
Yeah, I it's another one of these movie is kind of similar to Wall-E in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot going on dialogue-wise.
It was a 2.5 an
Um,
hour movie, a car chase scene, basically.
yeah, exactly right. And it didn't have much in terms of like the plot premise for that is like half of a page, maybe.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like I just really kind of dig what they were doing in that movie from a storytelling perspective. My favorite part maybe is that they bridged in that soundtrack as
Oh,
part of
yeah.
like the war drums, and I just loved that part of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's one of those things where if I'm bored and I'm like, man, I don't know what I want to kind of do. I don't really want to play a game or something. I can throw a movie on, and I'll usually go for that one just because it's just still fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Charlize Theron's in it, and she's on the pass list. So
I believe they originally intended for that movie to be done in black and white, but I'm assuming the studio was like, nah.
we can't do that.
We're not
I
releasing
don't know
a
if I
two
could.
and a half an hour movie because I think there's a version that you can watch in black and white.
I don't know if it would have the same effect.
No,
I don't. I mean, the color in that movie like was pretty intense in some points.
Yeah, and I believe the exact same director made this one that made the Mel Gibson ones.
Yeah, he did. And I keep meaning to actually kind of go back to those because I was never really like a Mad Max fan.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I think maybe it came out just a little bit before us.
Yeah, it did. It did. And like I don't know, whatever it was, like just it was 80s campy, typical movie. I never really got into it. And without the hype that was around Fury Road, I probably wouldn't have really bothered with it, but I went and saw it. There's a small theater here called the Bijou. Michael Moore actually has a hand in kind of curating what goes in there. He does a lot in Traverse City. Love him or hate him, the guy definitely is a film fan at heart. Maybe his films themselves really are something different, but the guy, you could tell he at least appreciates the craft itself.
Right.
So he puts a lot of his money into the theaters up in this area. But anyway, it was like a midnight showing, and it was like $1 to get in, and I was like, wow, that was actually a really good movie. But I wasn't gonna go see it otherwise.
Yeah. I think that's one of the first movies I saw when I moved down here. It was just one of those. Okay, let's just got nothing else to do. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
It was actually like, I kind of like this movie. So.
Right. Yep.
So I'm gonna go with a movie called The Road, not Mad Max Fury Road, but just The Road. I don't know if you ever saw that with Viggo Mortensen.
I did. Yeah, Viggo Mortensen. Based on I don't remember the guy that wrote that book.
Okay.
MacArthur. It starts with an MC. Doesn't matter. It's a great movie.
Yeah, and it's very just a bleak kind of. It feels like a Fallout kind of thing where you're just wandering, and you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Basically, that you're trying to get to the coast, which that always killed me with The Walking Dead. It's like you're in Georgia, just find a boat and sail off.
Right.
Problem
right.
solved. I just that's it. I mean, you're in DC now. Why don't you just walk to build yourself a boat, build yourself something,
Right.
and
Seriously.
boom, find an island with a mountain on it.
We've clearly made that the best option.
Yeah,
The road it had a couple painful like moments in it, and so did the book. I think it was really similar to it's Cormac McCarthy, just for
Okay.
whoever's in score. But yeah, The Road's a fantastic movie. I thought Morrison, it's maybe my favorite Morrison movie. What else has he really done besides like that and Lord of the Rings? The horse movie.
Oh, and he did the A History of Violence, where he's like a Russian
Oh,
hitman.
yeah, actually that was not bad either.
That
That wasn't.
that really awkward like fight in the
Yeah. Yes. The really underclothes fight.
yeah
That
with
was.
just naked knife fight in in like a sauna basically.
Yeah, definitely. The male viewers were definitely terrified by the sauna knife fight scene.
Someone was gonna
in
get
that.
poked with something, and either way, it was not
I
gonna.
just don't. Yeah, that was not. I don't want to be anywhere near knife fight in a what is it? A Roman sauna?
Oh yeah, that is the
Whatever the heck
last
that was.
place. Any place where I'm just completely bare,
Yeah,
that is just. Which
where
is-
you have to be, right? You don't even have a choice in those saunas to be anything but naked
Yeah.
in that one.
That was that's my one hiccup with like I
think it's a
enjoy a
nice-
sauna. I do not like being just ass naked around just other fat old men.
No, it doesn't. There's no appeal to this at all. I've never understood like the bathhouse thing, like the equivalent of like, oh yeah, that's like the golf course. That's where like deals get done. I'm like, I don't really get it. Why? We're just hanging out in a steamy place. Like, where does this become a thing?
Right. I get it if you're like hungover, you're just trying to sweat it all out. But other than that, just like
Oh yeah, I mean, my own private like hangover like sauna sweated out place. Like, absolutely.
right.
Nobody wants to be anywhere near that.
I mean, yeah, we'll have a sauna in the fallout shelter. I mean, that's one of the things that we win over Scarlett Johansson with. It's like, but there's a sauna. It's like, oh,
There is a sauna.
Yeah.
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 A sauna. if you will.
A sauna, yeah. But clothing is not optional.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
House rules. I'm sorry. That's just I don't know. I don't know who made it up, but clothing is not
Yeah.
available.
In this, yep.
And
My fallout shelter, my rules.
Yeah, and the
That's
entire
it.
shelter, clothing is not available because we needed to save space for more alcohol and meth material that we just couldn't have any clothes down here. I'm sorry.
Don't overthink it. This is just the way it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. But I did I didn't manage to get enough shaving cream and razors for you for the next 20 years. So
Yes, right, exactly. You've covered all of the important things. That's the whole thing.
yeah, yeah.
Talk about the real issues here.
Yeah. We need you to shave. I'll get into this later, but it's
Right.
just
I need to shave. You need to shave. Everything. We just trust me on this.
yeah.
No good otherwise.
It's all going to be used somehow else. Just
Mhm.
yes. So glad. I'm sure when Scarlett Johansson listens to this, she's like, "Well, you had me until you were talking about just shaving."
Right, exactly. It was that moment. This was the tipping point for that decision.
I'd rather be turned into just like a haze and nothing more than a shadow. So
And deal with that nonsense.
you're just standing on the hatch with your razor and your
Right, exactly. Like, oh man.
Scarlett,
With
don't
your
be like
dick
that.
floating everywhere.
Don't be like that. Come on. Just like the haze of mushroom clouds quickly coming towards you. It's like, come on. Come on.
Right, right. I've got to shut this lid in like 2 seconds. Just change your mind.
Just come on. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about this later. Just get in. Just get in.
Everything will be fine. Nothing is messed up here.
She walks down. It's just a giant S&M fallout shelter. It's like, oh, I guess I forgot to mention that part to you.
Right, right. I think I'm also taking the Big Lebowski screenplay down with me, and we're just reenacting the Big Lebowski for eternity, because that's never gonna get old.
Just over and over. So once like the DVD scratches out, you just like,
Yes.
okay, we gotta start acting it out.
Break it out. Break out the actual old school script.
Well, Scarlett, since you're an actress and I'm not, you're going to play every character, and but I will direct, and we might make some
That'd be
slight
kind of
changes.
incredible. Right. Slight minor changes here and there.
Yeah, yeah. But did you ever see the movie Snowpiercer?
Yes, I did. The train one, right?
Actually, I started it, then I got distracted, and I stopped, and I haven't gotten back to it. But I felt like
Okay.
I'd mention it.
So it's the train one. I think Chris Evans is
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, Captain America. I liked it. I liked Snowpiercer. I saw it on Netflix. I saw it a while ago on Netflix. but it's got an interesting premise. I don't know why the train has to keep moving, but it kind of does. It's like a weird speed kind of scenario.
Right.
And yet he still kind of wants to. I think the issue is like they don't think the train has to keep moving. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I liked it.
Okay.
I did enjoy it. Each like train car has some different like oddities, and there's like a rich person, poor person kind of dynamic going on.
Right.
Like as the further you get towards the engine, the wealthier things kind of get, and the more lavish, the train cars get. I think
Right.
there are some cool fight scenes in there too, if I remember right.
Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't think the guy that plays Captain America is that great of an actor.
He's really not. I mean, no offense, Chris Evans, but like, what other like, even your Captain America stuff, it's not hard to be Captain America. Captain America is blonde-eyed, or blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like yuppie every person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to really act. You just have to be that.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people that like him as Captain America, but I'm kind of like, eh. Maybe that's
I mean,
just
he's
the-
got
maybe
he's got
that's just-
likability, but he's not like a amazing actor.
right. Maybe I'm just comparing it to Robert Downey Jr. and it's like, I love Iron Man. I don't know if it's because of Iron Man or because Robert Downey Jr. has such like charisma as Iron Man that it's perfect. So
Yeah,
like
I feel like I mean Chris Evans has like if you're gonna cast Captain America, that's
Uh-huh.
probably a good cast
yeah.
for that because he's no offense. I mean, this is gonna sound horrible, but I've never really been a huge. I've tried to like Captain America.
Right.
Like I felt like as a comic fan growing up, it was like sacrilegious to not like Captain America. The same way with Superman.
Uh-huh.
And like later on, the more that I read, I'm just kind of bored with these characters. I don't really like them that much.
Right. Of course, I feel like they really need to start killing off some characters in these Avengers movies. It's just like,
They
ugh.
do, but not Scarlett Johansson because of Scarlett Johansson.
Right, right. I was just like, how does she not have a movie yet? Like, I'll go see that.
She's gonna. I think they're gonna do a Black Widow one, which her character could actually be really kind of cool to do.
Yeah.
They haven't really done a whole lot with her.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like they just needed some like femininity in the movies. Like they just sprinkle her in and out, and so it's not just all a bunch of testosterone all over the place.
right, right.
Because
I'm looking up Chris Evans's IMDb, and it is basically just all Marvel.
Right.
I mean, there's a handful of other things here and there, but for the most part, it's just like that's what he does now. He's Captain America.
Right. Wish there could be worse gigs, but
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, good on him to nail that gig, but
yeah. They got so many superheroes coming up now. It's like, and you can always bring them back because that's what happens with comic books, or whatever. But
right,
they got to start killing people. Like,
yeah, they do.
just
make it
pull a Star Wars and kill everyone. It's like you're all dead, all
yes,
of you.
right.
I don't even care.
It needs some sense of like consequence though.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there's no sense of mortality or consequence. Like everyone's gonna be fine. Iron Man's gonna get the shit kicked out of him, but he's gonna be cool.
Right.
The Hulk's gonna fall from the sky and land, and he'll be okay. He'll go back and have the same size shorts, and I don't know, it's just like
Somehow.
yeah. How did he not stretch those pants out? I'm confused, but yeah, it's just like I don't know. You guys gotta start offing people, and instead of just like the superhero that pops up for 5 minutes and then say, yeah, we'll just kill him. It's like no, you gotta
Right.
start offing people. Like
Killing them.
yes.
Start this apocalypse now.
Yeah. But I don't know. Are you excited for the new Avengers movie?
What is it? Infinity War? Is that the next one that's coming
I
up?
believe, yes.
I am and I'm not. It's a weird thing for like I'm sort of torn because the more these movies kind of stick around, the more commercialized and slightly like bastardized the original storylines start to be.
Uh-huh.
So like in the comics, kind of where they're sort of drawing a lot of this inspiration from was this thing called like the Infinity Gauntlet, and you had this crazy character called Galactus, and he was going to come and eat like basically the entire world. And or no, that's a different story. See, they're blending them together a little bit. But you had Captain America in this moment of like he stands up and he delivers like this huge monologue about like humanity and everything like that, and it was like a good moment.
Uh-huh.
And then like in like the Infinity Gauntlet stuff with Thanos and everything, like you just it's losing a lot of the originality, I think, and they're just doing it because they think people are gonna buy a bunch of tickets, and they are,
Right. Yeah.
which is great for Marvel. But I'm just like I'm missing kind of the feel of like that original Iron Man when it first came out.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that felt like awesome to see that character on the screen, and you never thought you could see a character like one Downey Jr. like nailing Tony Stark as a character,
Uh-huh.
but it was a cool movie behind it, and now it's just become this giant slugfest. And I'm like I'm gonna go see it, but I'm sort of begrudgingly going to see these
Right.
movies now.
I just watched Doctor Strange on Netflix. I didn't see it when it was in theaters.
Yeah,
I'm like, I had enough people tell me that it was really really good, and so I was like, okay, and I watched it. To be perfectly honest, I was kind of like on it. Like, I felt for me it was very like A to B to C, and there was nothing that really happened to like divert what was happening. It was very linear in
Yeah.
terms of storytelling, and I just like, I don't know. I like the actor. I think he's fantastic. I think he's probably
yeah.
one
Cumberbatch was really good.
I think he's one of the probably the best actors in the entire Marvel series. But
Yeah, definitely.
I just kind of like I mean, like okay, I guess.
So I saw this movie. Doctor Strange, one of my favorite characters. I like him because up until recently, he never really had a big spotlight,
Uh-huh.
but he had always had some cool stuff going on. Like he was always kind of in these different dimensions. The villains were kind of interesting. So like he always kind of had this appeal growing
Uh-huh.
up. And so I went to go see this movie. I saw it in IMAX 3D, and I think that was a good way to see that movie because the some of those sequences were
Oh, right.
super trippy.
Right.
And in that realm of it, that was really the main thing that was kind of keeping me interested in it. Story wise, it's like, I mean, I won't watch it on Netflix because like, or on regular, you know, Blu-ray or whatever, because it's like it's not gonna have the same appeal to me. Like
Right.
the weird mystical kind of segments where it's like molding into things and there's like the whole kaleidoscope happening, like that was really cool to see in that kind of an environment. But I don't think that's how those movies should be made. It shouldn't be a gimmick like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, look, I'll put it out here. Kind of, we're talking apocalyptic and everything like that. Marvel Comics is going to reach a point. They're reaching this point in the print books already.
Uh-huh.
They're losing their top talent is going over to DC Comics. They're focusing way too much on these characters that they're trying to do things with these guys that are noble and I think upright.
Uh-huh.
For instance, you've got like a half black, half Latino, possibly homosexual Spider-Man character running
Okay.
around in a Spider-Man costume. Okay, I don't have any problem with wanting to do a character like that, but they're trying to cram these characters into a traditional person.
Okay.
We all grew up. Peter Parker was the skinny white kid that did science and was awkward around girls, right? That's what we all grew up with. So to try to do another Spider-Man, but to bring in diversity, it just feels
Feels a little forced.
it does. It feels a little forced and kind of slightly insensitive. I mean, you should be able to have a character that's half black, half Latino, maybe fluid sexuality, stand on his own without slapping Spider-Man on the title to sell books. Like, just
Right.
be original. Why did it have to be Spider-Man? It's nothing against who you want to put behind that costume, but when you have an icon that's very difficult to change the archetype.
Right.
So Marvel's doing this consistently in the print realm, and I don't think it's working out for them.
Right.
And with their movies now, it's all this, this giant slugfest here and there, and just boring, like uninspired storylines. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the next year or two. Meanwhile, DC's kind of just sticking to basics. Granted, like from a universe standpoint, DC's always had some okay diversity.
Right.
They've always kind of done, I think, better than Marvel has.
Yeah. Just the movies suck.
The movies are awful.
At least
They cannot nail that. They cannot do that. Right.
I mean, you can do
Once
Batman.
every while.
Like you as Batman.
Yeah, and
you know,
Wonder
you can do
Woman was
Batman.
good, but the rest of them have been just dumpster fire.
Yeah. I haven't even seen. I mean, I haven't seen the others. Actually, I haven't seen Wonder Woman yet. I haven't seen most of DC stuff. It's like,
Wonder Woman was good. I tried to watch Suicide Squad. I couldn't get through it. I tried to watch Batman v Superman. I couldn't get through it.
that one's just
I
bad.
haven't seen JLA, but I think it's gonna be the same way. So I'll have the same problems with it.
Right.
Like, it's like, dude, what do you guys stop? The movie side of that business needs to just stop trying to be Marvel. Just do their thing.
Yeah.
The reason why Batman worked so well, and same with like the first Wonder Woman movie, was they took the core of the character and just made a movie about that. And try to do anything different.
I feel like they're just trying to catch up with Marvel too fast.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's got to like stay the course,
yeah.
You be you, DC. You don't have to be Marvel Comics.
I'm trying to figure out because I know that DC's doing like a Vixen movie where it's all like the bad female characters.
Right, like Poison Ivy and Catwoman and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. I'm trying to remember who they cast for all of those characters.
I can't remember. I haven't seen much about that one.
I think they were just started because I think Margaret Robbie or what's her name?
Yeah, Margot Robbie. She was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And a great cast. I mean, that's like a spot on Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Oh, Gotham City Sirens is what it's called.
Oh boy, that just sounds awful.
So. Oh, you don't have any cast. I thought they'd have more cast. It's just her and rumored Jared Leto as Joker.
Oh man, just seems like another just disaster.
Because you got to get rid of Zack Snyder off of these movies. I think he's the one that's just totally screwed it all up.
I think so too. He screwed up Superman. He's screwing up. What did he do? Suicide Squad too, or has he done?
No, he did. Let's see. David Ayer did Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
And David Ayer has also
I have
directed.
not been.
He's also where is he directed? He directed Bright on Netflix, which I heard was absolutely god awful. He directed Fury, Sabotage.
I've not seen it.
End of Watch was not bad. But I mean, it's one of those. He's had some decent writing credits. I don't know if you ever saw U571. He did that. He did Training Day, the original Fast and Furious movie. So he's got some all right writing credits.
Yeah,
But
So what did Schneider direct?
he directed the Batman Superman movie, and he did like
He
300,
did.
and he did
Yeah. He was a producer on Wonder Woman, which was surprising to me.
yeah. I don't know if he's just his name's just attached to it now,
Right.
or
Justice League I heard was awful. I did not like Batman v Superman. I wasn't a huge fan of Man of Steel either.
right.
It was too dark for a Superman movie. So yeah, they got to get rid of Snyder. There's plenty of other better directors out there that could do these characters, the way they should be.
Yeah. Apparently, he's directing Justice League Part 2, according to IMDb.
Yeah, of course, that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, he directed Watchmen. I knew a lot of people that liked Watchmen movie.
I liked Watchmen, but Watchmen is dark. Watchmen started dark.
Right.
That's it's just these things where it's like it fits when it fits. Like
Yeah.
Watchmen is a dark tale. It's a weird DC tale. But Superman, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, like none of these Justice League, it did not have to be X-Men in
Right.
DC characters.
I just didn't like his overuse of like just obvious green screen stuff.
Oh,
like,
dude, the guy loves the green screen. I mean, all of Watchmen is a green screen.
right. And so is like 300, and that's the stuff that like.
Yeah.
I was not a huge 300 fan. For at least for me personally, I just thought it was kind of just ridiculous. But that was just me. I know a lot of people that really loved it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's another one of those where take it or leave it kind of a situation. For it being a comic book movie, I was like, yeah, that's cool. For it actually being what it was, it's like, all right. I mean, yeah, we didn't need Gerald Butler's CGI'd abs for 120 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty basic, I don't know, like, again, like, 300 was a pretty dark tale. It was written by Frank Miller originally, based on, obviously, the battle of the 300 Spartans that held off against these Persians, whatever.
Right.
The comic book itself had a... So I see kind of what he was doing, because 300, the comic book, was in a different format. It was a much larger format and very violent, super dark. So he kind of tried to do some of that, but I feel like he just had the same shtick afterwards.
Right.
Like, oh, Watchmen, I'll just do the same thing, just a bunch of green screen and try to push the envelope. And yeah, Man of Steel, that'll also work. Like, he's done nothing really that different from those movies.
Yeah. So I got an idea for our next episode that we could do.
Okay. Yeah.
So talking about Gotham City Sirens, we could get into people who should play the different the different female villains in the movie.
Yes, a casting call. I like it.
Yeah, and we could see how close we are to any of them.
I dig this. So there was a comic book magazine called Wizard back in the day. They used to do this all the time, and it was my favorite feature.
Well, we'll do.
And they got some of them right.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a little casting call for the next time around. See what and then maybe bring up some superheroes that haven't been done, and then talk about who we think could and should play them.
I dig it. I like it.
So yeah, but all right. Do you have any other favorite post-apocalyptic things?
No. I mean, there's other ones we can name, but we kind of got on a.
We've gone on some random tangents today.
We did. So no, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I guess that is our Fallout episode. Hopefully, the world is still around by the time this goes out in the airwaves. But yeah. So, Chris, out of the 3 drinks you took, which one would be your go-to beverage of choice outside of the packages?
Yes, right, exactly. I'm going to, just because I can find it in plenty of like stock, I'm just gonna stock up on the good old Labatt Light.
Nice.
Not my favorite, but thinking about it from a bunker standpoint, I'm just gonna good old steady.
Yeah. You know, I think I'm gonna go with the Sam Adams. The Founders is great. It's also $30 a pop, so that's gonna take away from my Fallout Shelter, funding. And
Right.
it's one of those beers that's like, I feel like eventually you're gonna be like, ugh, I can't drink any more of this. Like, it's so
Yes.
heavy and thick that I need, that's what she said. It's just you're gonna need something else. So I think, yeah, just the Sam Adams. Let's go with that. Seems like I can get enough of that. Pretty cheap, and we'll be good to go. Mrs. Johansson and myself.
I dig it.
But yeah, I think that's probably our episode for this week. We're starting to approach 2 hours. So, again, it's still on YouTube. Hopefully in the near future, we'll have it all up on the website and all that stuff. But we'll let you know when that goes live and where to subscribe for all of that. But so for now, it's myself and your good friend of mine, Chris. We bid you bid you bye. You guys take it easy, and we'll catch you guys later. See ya.
Thanks for listening. All original music is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. If you can, please rate, review, and spread the word of Two Dudes and a Six Pack.